What is going on, everybody? My name is Jacob, been a diehard Pistons fan since 2003, and I'm eager to see this team getting back to playing winning basketball. In today's video, we're going to talk about Cooper Flagg and if it makes sense for the Detroit Pistons to tank and intentionally lose games in order to get him. In the first half of the video, we're going to talk about Cooper Flagg as a prospect, and in the back half of the video, I'm going to let you know if it makes sense for the Pistons to actually go out and tank another year in order to have the highest likelihood chance of drafting him, as he is considered to be the #1 pick next year. Before we get on to it, if you guys are new here, please subscribe. We just crossed over 1,000 subscribers this week, and we're already pushing up to 1,500. So the faster we hit that, that would just be incredible. Thank you all so much for the recent support. It's truly been unreal. So Cooper Flagg is starting to kind of enter the mainstream discourse more than he ever has now after he spent the last week alongside Jalen Duren with the Team USA Select Camp. If you guys have been on Twitter or even watching ESPN, things like that, I'm sure you saw he was pretty impressive as a 17-year-old playing up against some of the best players in the world like LeBron, KD, and Steph. Cooper Flagg is actually only 17 years old right now. He reclassified, so he was originally supposed to be going into his senior year, but he's going to be going into his freshman year at Duke instead. I've been watching Cooper for a long time. I don't know if you all know this, but something I do is normally keep a pretty good eye on NBA prospects as they're coming up and coming through. So I've been watching Cooper for a couple of years now, and to be honest, I'm super high on him. It's really not an argument anymore of who will go #1 in the next draft class. It's going to be Cooper. It's more of an argument now of where does Cooper stack rank against the other top prospects that we've seen in the past decades. Talking AD, Zion, Cade, these types of guys, right? How does he stack up against those guys? Wemby's out of the question. I don't even include Wemby in any of that because Wemby was in another tier than all of those guys. But I feel really good about keeping Cooper right in that tier as a prospect with Zion, with Anthony Davis, and with Cade. Because I know Cade's first couple of years have been weird and rocky here, but Cade as a prospect was absolutely insane. The fade for Cade movement was real. So Cooper Flagg is kind of a swing forward, mostly known for his defensive ability, his defensive instincts. His bounce is unreal. He's got a crazy vert. He's super tall to have that type of vert. He's 6'10". Just overall, an insane defensive prospect. And truly, to make it as simple as possible, I see Kentucky Anthony Davis with more vert and the ability to create more. So a lot of people actually talk about Cooper not having the best ability to create his own shot and things like that, but here are the stats from what he put up in his AAU career and his time at Montverde, and it's honestly better than what you would think if you don't believe in that hype for his ability to create. He's able to do a lot off the dribble. He's able to shoot threes, so his scoring doesn't even faze me. I think Cooper's a 10 out of 10 prospect. I really can't say enough good things about him. I think that he's going to be amazing in the NBA. I think his game will translate well as a two-way player. Whoever gets him is going to be lucky. But now we have to talk about the Pistons side of this. Should the Pistons intentionally lose games in order to get Cooper Flagg? And just to be blunt about it, absolutely positively not. For a couple different reasons. Number one, we've been bad for way too long, and that has effects on so many different things. We've been terrible bottom feeders for over 4 or 5 years now, and we can't do that anymore. The fans can't take any more of that, and most importantly, the players on the roster, the young players on the team, we're talking Cade, Asar, Ivy, Duren, Holland, they can't go through that anymore because sooner or later they're going to get fed up with it. They're going to get disinterested. They're either going to ask to get traded, they're going to not sign back here, or they're just going to lose interest in the game of basketball. I mean, I don't think they would, but how could you blame them if they're going out and winning 1 game a month? How can you blame them for not wanting to show up and put in the work when they know that their team is intentionally trying to lose games just to get another draft pick? It's going to take a toll on the franchise. The losing already has taken a giant toll on the franchise, and truthfully, we just can't do any more of that. We really can't afford to keep losing, and just waiting for a guy to come through the door that might be able to turn it around, because we've already done that. We've already intentionally lost. We've already got the first pick. We've already got our Cade. How has that gone so far? Not great. So overall, we need to start winning, even if it's just a small amount of games, talking 28, 30, 32 games. just to start building that winning culture. People use that term all the time: winning culture, winning culture, winning culture. Winning cultures don't get created out of intentionally losing to try and get draft picks. Another reason why I just think it's a horrible idea to tank for Flagg, guys, we've had the worst record in the NBA the past 2 years, and both years we have picked fifth in the draft. The lottery odds are severely nerfed from what they used to be once upon a time. If you have the worst record in the league, you still will only have a 14% chance of landing Cooper Flagg. Now, the draft itself next year is actually really good. Outside of Cooper Flagg, you're looking at Ace Bailey, Harper, Nolan Traore. There's some really good prospects in the draft next year, but guys, we just don't need any more young talent. We have all the young talent in the world. We have 5 guys that are under the age of 22 and younger that were all top 5 picks. I guess Jalen Duren wasn't, but Jalen Duren's a great player for a 20-year-old, and we just have way too many of these young guys to sit there and tell them, sit out this game, we're going to play the bench to this game, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, just to try and lose more games. Overall, it's just a horrible idea for us to intentionally lose games, especially out of the gate. I guess if April rolls around and we're sitting in the 5th worst record in the league and we have no chance of making the play-in, this and that, maybe at that point, shut down Cade, shut down Tobias, maybe try and lose a couple extra games to get the lottery balls falling in our favor, maybe. But even then, I don't want to be sold on that either. I think we really need to play competitive basketball for 82 games in a season to try and establish that winning culture and try and tell our young guys that are on the team, we're not worried about the draft anymore. We're worried about the improvement of you guys. We're worried about the success of you guys that are already here and in this locker room. That's what we need to do right now. We just can't afford any more of these 14, 15, 16 game win seasons. It's just not going to work like that. You can't just be bad and be bad and be bad until you decide that you want to be good, because the lottery just doesn't work that way anymore. Maybe 10 years ago, when the lottery odds were much different than they were now, and the worst team in the league had a significantly better chance of landing the first overall pick, I'd feel differently. But even then, I don't think that would be enough to sell me on intentionally losing to try and get Flagg, considering where our roster's at and what our team has been through the last couple of years. So to recap, Cooper Flagg, amazing prospect. I think he's going to have a great NBA career. I think he's all NBA caliber player right out the gate. We're talking in 2 or 3 years, I could see this dude making an all NBA team at 21 years old. And if he can't do that, he'll definitely be making all defense. But the Pistons just are not in a position where they can afford to intentionally lose games and try and tank for Cooper Flagg. So best of luck to Cooper and Duke. Best of luck to Cooper once he gets to the league. But unfortunately, I don't think it'll be with the Pistons. Catch y'all soon.